Hey, this is Matt Eben with Gateway Greening, and this week in the community garden we're going to be talking about heat. In the St. Louis area, we've really been experiencing some really hot weather in the high 90s, and that is going to affect your garden. The thing that some gardeners may be noticing right now is they're not getting a lot of fruits off of their fruiting plants like tomatoes, peppers. The reason for that is they're not being pollinated, and also it's very stressful for the plants. It's not the high daytime temps that we're really concerned about. Of course, that's stressful on the plants, but what we really need to be concerned about is the high nighttime temperatures. Once we get into around 75 degrees to 85 degrees as the nighttime low, a lot of these plants, especially tomatoes and peppers, will actually abort their flowers. So they will drop flowers on their own just because of the high heat. They can't sustain pollination. Another thing that you might see is fruits being pollinated, but they're going to look kind of weird. Again, that's because of the high humidity that really messes with some of the pollination of the flowers. And bottom line too, some pollinators just don't come out when it's this hot out. So one thing that you might want to expect when it's going to be this hot is not getting at as many tomatoes or peppers that you're used to. Another thing that you're going to notice when we have really high heats is you're going to want to water a little bit differently. We're lucky enough at Bell Demonstration Garden to have drip irrigation. So this is actually feeding small amounts of water over time to these plants, which is the best way to get as most moisture in the ground possible. But not everybody has the luxury of having drip irrigation, so they do a lot of overhead watering. When it's this warm out, you're really going to want to try to water in the morning. The reason being is because if you're watering when it's already 85, 90 degrees out, you're going to have a high evaporation rate, and you're just losing the water that you're actually putting on the garden to evaporation rather than going into the ground where the roots are. So if you have options of watering, we suggest to do that in the morning so you can get the ground wet, and a lot of the water can actually dry off the leaves before we start getting these high heats. Another thing that you want to do is remember to keep yourself hydrated. I'm not wearing the best example of this right now, but usually larger hats, long sleeves, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Sometimes the heat index in St. Louis, like today, can get around 107 degrees, so make sure that you're also keeping yourself healthy as well.